All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's time for Off the Top Sportscast. I'm John, and that is Roy, and we are here for another wonderful edition. Roy, you have our topic today.
We're going to talk a little bit about the all-star competitions that they were, just the all-star break in general. How do you feel about it? Do you think it's worth your viewing time? Do you think it's a waste of time? Do you think they may be able to do something different that can make us interested? What do you say? Waste of time or you made time?
I like the All-Star games. Um, as of recent times, I haven't been as interesting. It's not as compelling to me. But to put it in context, in the 90s was the real height of the All-Star festivities, wouldn't you say?
Mhm.
That was like the 90s and even like the 2000s, the mid 2000s was a good time as well. Um, I think what takes it a little way away the specialness to me is that some guys are all-stars and don't even want to come and play. You know what I mean? They just don't show up. It used to be such a privilege to be selected an all-star. Nowadays, I don't feel like these guys take it as serious. Do you feel the same way?
I agree. I think it's vacation. Yeah,
Hmm.
they get to see some people, they get to be at some of the events, but it's a hobnob social event. It's not really a game.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the dunk contest. A G leaguer was in the slam dunk contest.
Hmm. And won it. Mac won it. Yeah, twice. That's right.
What is that saying? People don't care. Two, we have the skills challenge, the 3-point challenge. We're gonna get a guy with a girl. Now, come on. You know what I mean? They're putting things together to go, what can we do to make it interesting? You know what
Hmm.
makes it interesting? Let's eliminate all this 3-point garbage and this dunk. Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. You know what I think will make it interesting? Two things.
Okay.
Two of things. One, let's make it a fan event. All these type of things, let's make the players connect with the fans. You know what I say? You raffle the 3-point contest is with a fan and his player that he gets to pick. Maybe the fans are with the slam dunk contest that they're attached to one of these guys
Mm.
and they get to win money. So these guys are screwing up or thinking, I got to win this thing for the fan. Let's bring the fan connection. But I say the number one thing I think that will win our attention when it comes to the East versus the West. You know what I
Okay.
say? I say, and again, there's a couple of things I have in my mind, but one big one. Let's put the best West team, because some of these guys don't want to play, but the best. Let's put the best East, and they play for the chance to represent the United States at Olympics.
Oh,
Whichever
wow.
side wins, that's the next Olympic team. No matter what. We're not going to take guys from the East. We're not going to take the East versus the West. They got good guys on both sides. They should be able to make a killer team from both sides. They play. Whoever wins, they're the next Olympic team. That's what
That's
I say.
interesting.
That's one of my suggestions. Let it be done. Let it be said.
That's interesting. Because now those are real stakes. And it makes it interesting, more interesting, because you can get some of these guys who will play in the all-star game together for 2 or 3 years and build cohesion going into the Olympic Games. That's interesting. That's an interesting twist on it. I didn't think of that. Um, you know what I was thinking? Okay, I'm not really into the skills challenge, the passing. These guys are not even dribbling and running hard. So why am I watching this, right? The 3-point contest is cool for me. I like the shooting. I'm just, you kind of go into it knowing who's going to win. there's never a lot of like huge surprises or anything like that, you know. Dame won it again this year, second year in a row. When Steph's not in it, Dame wins it. Okay. Um, I would much rather it be the top, whatever, 4, 5 3-point shooters, like not by voting, but just whoever in the standings is the best 3-point shooter. You're in the 3-point contest.
Makes sense. The stats, right? The stats are the
Right.
stats. That's it.
So, you know what I would think too? Roy, you remember back in the day, because we're old, they would have like the NFL Pro Bowl competition was like who could throw the ball the furthest.
Speed.
That made sense.
They were
Speed.
running. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But even though I don't mind flag football for the NFL, I don't mind that. You know what I mean?
Right. But
I-
wouldn't it make more sense have a high jump competition with these guys? Now you want to impress some guys, show off that vert. Now we're talking.
I like that.
Now that's impressive.
I like that.
That's
Yeah,
impressive.
show me your ups, right? Show the
Yeah.
ups. But again, that's a nice skill set. But for what?
But
For
at the very least, we're really showing off these guys without potentially getting them hurt. That's the thing that like the slam dunk is cool. And thankfully, I don't remember anybody ever getting hurt on a slam dunk competition. Do you? No. But the potential is there, right? But just jumping straight up, that really shows me something. You know what I mean? Because it's also comparable. I think with all these competitions, the first thing you should do, there should be one guy who does them all first. And that's the average Joe comparison. You know, his vert was 20 inches. All right, let's see how, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people do things and we don't like 36-inch vertical. You're like, is that good? Is that bad? But when you see it compared to an average person, now you go, oh, okay, that's impressive. I think that would be fun. I don't know. Football recently has changed the way they do their Pro Bowl. And maybe it's time for basketball to kind of follow suit and let these guys have some fun. Because I'll tell you what, man, it makes me a little sad that I feel like the NBA is the league that the guys are having the least fun playing. Do you feel that way?
I think guys are having fun. I think when it comes, because they're playing, they're getting paid like every sport. But I think it's when we're playing an all-star game, all-star break. If it's a break, it's a break. But it's not really a break. What they want is some guys get a break and some guys got to do something else. So the question is, if you're going to do it, make it meaningful. Again, they have this interleague tournament. That's another tournament that they win money. Like they need more money. Some of these guys, right? Because only the team gets money. They get money. Again, there's kids who need scholarships, colleges that need funding. If you're talking about representing one of these HBS colleges, whatever it may be, a hospital, Shriners Hospital for cancer, let's put something on the line. Let's say here, all these guys on the West, they're putting, again, 3-point contest, whatever it is. What do you want to represent? What do you want to, and now I'm playing for them. You know what I may start to do? I may even start to practice for this competition, which none of them do. None of them do.
Right.
Really, little practice their dunks. The only one who was really practicing the dunk was the G League guy. That's really the only one who was practicing. But maybe if they make it worth something, all these names that I had, blinks, blinks, blinks. You're playing for Karen in Syracuse, New York. She's a cancer patient who needs her bills paid. You know what? Son of a gun, I'm playing my heart off. Right? Again, make it worth it.
Let me ask you a question. Should they give the guys a break? Let's just break. Should the All-Star break or should the All-Star game be at the end of the year?
I think that's a fabulous idea. They do it with the Pro Bowl. right?
Right.
Why injure a guy or let them not care about it? The Pro Bowl guys care a little bit more about it because guess what? That's their last hip hurrah.
Right.
Let's give it.
Well,
No, I like that. Let it be said. Let it be done.
yeah, especially because now, right? You keep on telling these guys, hey, you got to play 65 games. You want to win an award at the end of the year. You got to play 65 games. We don't want you sitting. The whole reason the the in-season tournament was made wasn't for the money, wasn't for any of that. It was so that these guys would play in the beginning of the year. So why not give them a break in the middle of the year? Let them go out and do press, let them go out and do whatever. And then at the end of the year, that second push, now you guys got all these guys fresh and ready to go, healed up, which is exactly what you want, right? You want these guys playing. So why don't we just move the date? It's not going to make it anything less.
I don't even think it's going to change anything. You may
No.
get some guys not playing, wanting to play. The season's over. But again, now we can add value to it by doing something for the community. Listen, how many things are out there that you hurricanes here that knock all these buildings down and all? There's so much problems. Can you do something to make it worthwhile? Can you do something NBA players to give back? So far, we've talked about different things and we've solved problems here on this show. We are nothing but problem solvers, down to donut hole episodes to the way to fix Madden. We are fixing the NBA. I hope someone listens down there in NBA headquarters that they need to stop the foolishness, stop the madness, put it at the end of the year and make it worth something.
So what they also did this year was they did a light up court.
Amazing.
I thought that was cool.
Amazing. Amazing.
I thought it was really cool. I thought that played really well. In fact, that's the second time this year that they've changed the courts because they did it for the in-season tournament. And I said to myself, yeah, we need wholesale changes to the uniforms. Let's liven this thing up.
I concur.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that court. That was really cool. So the NBA All-Star break, is behind us, right? But so now we're fixing the problems with it. Is there anything else that you say, I wish they would do this a little bit more or do this a little bit less?
Do this a little bit more, do this a little bit less. We kind of fixed the All-Star break. I think we know a little bit about that. The one thing I do love with the NBA is the draft. I love the NBA draft. I wish they would do, the NBA would do, they do more like what the NFL does. I think there's more access. Sometimes finding these games and finding these, I'm like, where, who, what, where? I wish they gave a little bit more access that we are seeing everything. You know what I mean? I feel like with the NFL, we see a little bit more. We hear a little bit more. I think that, and again, maybe where the teams, you following your team, maybe the NBA channel, again, I don't know. I don't carry the NBA channel, so I don't know if that's the case, but I feel they need to capitalize on the NBA draft more. I think the NFL does a good job, but I'm also going to be a little bit, I'm going to hold back a little bit because I said, I will watch the NBA Combine, but I think it's more accessible than all these G League games that they have. It looks like almost in this backward high school court half the time. Put them on the real, some of these real courts sometimes. It's like in this gym. I'm like, where the heck are they playing? And it looks like they could barely get 3 guys in there.
Yeah, and you know what? I've gone to the Osceola Magic G League game, and the look was good. It was in a small stadium. I think the biggest problem is that they're just not investing in the cameras, so that when you're filming it, when you're seeing it on, in person, it looks great. On camera, it looks bad. They do need to invest in that. Some lighting in those gyms sometimes is really bad. One thing I noticed, and I said, why do we do this in sports? What is it about 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night that captivates sports people so much? Why would we not have things earlier in the day so that people can celebrate it, the whole thing, start to finish, and then analysis afterwards, and people can, continue to tune in or not. But starting it at 7 o'clock or 7:30 at night seems weird.
Well, some NBA games start late too.
No, I'm not even talking about games. Games is different because those are during the week, whatever. I'm talking about the All-Star game this week in the festivities. The 3-point contest, the contest with Steph got done, and it was like 10:15 at night. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Saturday. I'm sorry to tell you, in this world, people just don't work 9 to 5 anymore, Monday through Friday. There's a lot of people who have to work on Sunday. Then the All-Star games on Sunday night. There's a lot of people who have to work on Monday. Why are we not just doing it earlier? Why is the Super Bowl later? And why? I don't get it. I don't understand that time frame.
They're looking at that. They're trying to get people to watch. They got some dead time towards the evening hours, and they're trying to keep that prime time viewership up. It's about dollars. It's not about makes sense. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I get I get the prime time aspect of it, but I think those are old metrics because primetime viewership used to be after people get done with dinner, before they're getting ready after they're putting the kids to bed, you're going to watch something before. And that's not how people watch anything these days. It's either stuff that is, what do you call it? Must see. So you're putting it on your calendar viewing, like the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter what time they put it on, I'm going to watch. Or I'm going to watch it whenever, recorded or whatever on whatever platform. So I just don't understand the time frame. I just don't get it, because these guys had like a 2-hour pregame. So they were there at 5 o'clock. Everybody's walking in, doing festivities and stuff like that. I was thinking to myself, if they would have started at 1, talk to the guys. The game starts at 3. Everything, all the festivities end by 4, right? Then you could have interviews with everybody afterwards, 5 to 6 or whatever. This the same amount of time, because after the All-Star game, I mean, there's nothing that's happening after that. Everybody's going to bed, So
I get it. All right, John, we are wrapping up this talk about the boring All-Star break. We fixed it, I think. I think we fixed it. I think we did it again. I think we hit it right on the head. I think people need to listen to us more. We were fortunate enough. We had one live, Instagram live. We're going to try other lives coming up. We're going to be doing them because, again, NFL doesn't stop. It goes into the combines. It goes into the free agency and the draft. We got a lot of things to talk about. So we're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk about coming up about the baseball season. That's around the corner. So a lot of things are coming up. But for right now, we're closing the chapter on the All-Star break. And next, right after this break, we're going to be coming back with the NBA playoffs, the standings that they're in, and what would be the playoff chase right now, who would be playing each other if it was of today. So let's close it off as we always do. Subscribe, like, please. Help us continue to push forward, continue to have the energy to talk about various topics that some of the topics nobody really talks about. They just talk about all kinds of crazy things, who's baby mamas in the NFL or NBA, and who's going to do this or that. But we're talking about fixing problems. So with that said, one thing we always say, John, what is it?
Talk to a stranger about sports today.
Let's wrap it up. Let's close it out.